You already know about grouping symbols. Can someone tell me what we use for grouping symbols in math? Diego?
Like terms?
No. The symbols of how would we make a group in math? What symbols would I use to show that something's going to be grouped together? Brian? Good, parentheses, that's all. So first of all, grouping symbols. Most of the time we're going to see parentheses. But what you're going to see, how we're going to make this a little more complicated for 8th grade, is that you'll be also seeing problems that have other grouping symbols that are brackets. Unless you want to be on the podcast. Okay, so brackets, square brackets. And I'll show you an example of that in a minute. It could also be the fraction bar is going to be a way to group things into separate parts. So I'll show you an example of each of these. It's not too complicated. The thing I want you to remember today is PEMDAS. The P is for parentheses, but really it could be other types of these grouping symbols, okay? So we always start with that group. Now, I'll start with a simple example. 6, parentheses, 5 minus 3. First of all, notice that the 6 is just pushed up next to the parentheses. Anytime we mush stuff together in math, it's always multiplication. So this means 6 is being multiplied by the parentheses. Okay? And of course, we do the parentheses first. 5 times 3 is 2. So then we do 6 times 2 is 12. Very simple example, just to show you what we're doing. Okay? Now, just to show you the idea here of that group, what if I changed it to this? Now the parentheses aren't really a group. There's nothing to do inside the parentheses, it's just 5. But what would I do first according to PEMDAS here? Vincent?
6 times 5.
Yeah, this is still multiplication, and multiplication happens before subtraction. So I would get 30 for the multiplication, right? 6 times 5. Minus 3, and then I get 27. So just notice very different answers depending on what those parentheses are doing. So that's pretty simple to start. Let me show you the fraction bar. Now again, these are simple examples. 12 plus 4 over 15 minus 7. Here the idea of a grouping symbol is that you just treat the numerator, the top part, and solve that. There's its group. And then you treat the denominator, the bottom part, as a group, and you solve that. And that's all. The idea with this is that we're not going to go top and bottom and try to simplify these. We're going to treat the numerator as a group and the denominator as a group. And that's all it means when I say a fraction bar can be a grouping symbol. 12 plus 4 is 16. We did that group. 15 minus 7 is 8. 16 divided by or over 8 simplifies to 2. Okay, so just if you see a fraction bar, solve the top part, solve the bottom part, and then simplify that answer if possible. Any questions so far? Pretty easy, right? Okay, good. That's the idea starting out. Now, how do we make it more difficult? We just add more stuff. So here's what I'll show you with the brackets. 18 minus square bracket 52 divided by parentheses 7 plus 6 close parentheses close bracket. Now you guys are going to be copying problems out of the book. So the first thing for the homework is to make sure you copy it correctly. Be careful as you're transferring the work to your paper that you don't make a mistake because you'll get the wrong answer just by copying it wrong. So why would we use the brackets here instead of another set of parentheses? Any guesses? Right, here's parentheses. Why not just use more parentheses? Brianna?
It's a whole different group.
Okay, it's a different group. It's a bigger group. Okay, and that's really the reason. Also, it would get confusing. Don't write this down. But if I had 52 divided by 7 plus 6 close, close, it can be kind of confusing if it's all parentheses, right? Plus, as Leanne said, it is a different group, right? This is one group. Now, here's the idea. When there's double groups, you go to the insidemost one first, which means that you're going to be starting generally with the basic parentheses. Then you go to this group. Very last will be this 18 minus. So here's what I'm going to do, and here's how I want you to do it. Copy everything down that hasn't changed. Don't try to do it all at once. That's when people make mistakes. Even the smartest math people can make mistakes that way. 7 plus 6 is the only thing that's changed. I do that first, and I get 13. I'll tell you right now, 52 divided by 13 is 4. Now technically we don't need the brackets anymore because we've done all the work. I'm just showing you how it goes. So you start with the innermost group, then to the bigger group, and then finally, when that's simplified as much as possible, you finish up 18 minus 4, 14. Now, let's combine that last example, just one more. Let's combine that with what we did yesterday. Evaluate if, and then I'll give you values. So, evaluate, again meaning plug in, 4x plus 5y over 3x minus y. If x equals 3 and y equals 8. So we're just combining the two ideas. Yesterday we're going to do that and plug in, and then we're going to solve the top group and solve the bottom group. Okay, so just one step more from yesterday. Let's start by plugging in the values. 4 times x is 4 times 3, plus 5 times y, which is 5 times 8. On the bottom, 3 times x, so 3 times 3, minus y, so minus 8. So again, for showing work, I want to see this. Don't do it all in your head. Please show me. Because if you are to make a mistake, at least I can see that you started out the right way, and then I know you just made a mental math error. Now, don't forget PEMDAS, up at the top. We'll do the top group first. 4 times 3, 12, plus 5 times 8, which is 40. So I'm just doing one step at a time, 12 plus 40. Jot it down. Simple math. But again, if you lose something along the way, you'll get the wrong answer. 3 times 3 is 9, so 9 minus 8. I end up with 52 over 1, which is just 52. And that's it. Not so bad, right? Okay, good. That's it for today.